Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now let's start with the first story. It's called It's Policy. This was years ago. We had a new manager take over the grocery store where I worked at. He wanted us to follow the policy book to the letter. And I mean to the letter. A tad bit unrealistic, but he was super polite about it and said he was just trying to protect everyone's jobs. I thought this was nice of him, but at the same time several of us tried to point out that some of the policies needed revision. One of the things in the policy book was we were to card everyone who wanted cigarettes or alcohol. It did not matter if it was extremely obvious that they are of age. It said in the policy book to card everyone, including any people with the person paying. If there were little kids, then this was of course an exception. They can't possibly have IDs. So all the employees started complying with this policy. There were grumbles from customers, but we were just doing our job. The customers seemed to understand, but would let the manager know how ridiculous they felt about the policy. But policy was policy after all. Well, one day I was working and I had a woman come into my line with a couple of bottles of wine, and who was with her? The store manager. Off the clock. It was him and his wife. Now let's remember, store policy is to card everyone. No exceptions aside from little kids. So what do? I ask for both of them to provide ID. My boss looks at me and says, "Isn't it obvious we are of age? I am your boss as well. Certainly you don't need to card us." I smiled and kindly reminded him what the store policy was and pointed out it was in the policy book that cashiers are required to card everyone, no matter if they were obviously of age. I also reminded him how he told all employees this was to be strictly enforced to protect our jobs. He just stares at me blankly. It's like he can't believe I'm following exactly what he said to do. His wife had already handed me her ID and looked at him and says, "Well, where is your ID? If it is store policy, then it's store policy." It wasn't long after that he contacted corporate to ask that the policy be revised. A few weeks later, we are handed a new policy book. The next story is called Buy Off on Everything. I'm a machinist in a CNC aerospace shop. I've been here for 4 years, never worked a different job, and everything I know is learned from this shop. The machines I run are multi-pallet machines that can hold over 20 parts each and are completely automated with the exception of the loading and unloading of parts and tooling. One machine holds over 300 tools and the other holds almost 200 tools. A few years ago, when I was taught how these machines run, I was told to have every first part bought off on each order at once, even if the next order was the same part as the previous order. My supervisor was really cool to me and I enjoyed working with him. This buy-off policy started because someone kept running parts and not checking them properly and scrapped thousands of dollars in parts. For about a month straight, people were getting write-ups for not having buy-offs done. To save myself the hassle, I decided I would be extremely meticulous about making sure my parts were bought off properly every time. I would end up with 3 to 5 orders of parts running back to back. I would run the first part from each order, take 5 different parts to my lead and have them go through the 15 to 20 minute process of buying them off. And I would not run the machines until the parts were fully bought off. I caused dozens of hours of downtime on the machines during this month, because sometimes there wasn't an available lead to check my parts. After a month of lost time and profits due to expediting the parts for processing and shipping, the owner called me in for a meeting and asked why my machines weren't running all the time. I told him, "The lead supervisor wants a buy-off on every order that runs, so until the parts are bought off, I don't run the machines." After that meeting, the policy changed. Now we only should be checking parts and keeping them running at the discretion of the operator. We only needed buy-offs if something measured wrong or it was a new part we'd programmed, never made before, or hadn't run in a while. The third story is called Transfer Me. I used to work for a call center company for an auto financing company based in the US. It is an international call center company, so with that in mind, you can tell from my accent that I am not American. One busy and tiring day, I receive a call in my queue. I answered with my typical, "Hello, how can I help you?" Without allowing me to finish, this person asked for my nationality, which I answered, since we are allowed to do so. Then this person, furiously, told me to transfer them to an American representative. I explained that I will be able to assist them with their concern, and if not, I will connect them to my supervisor. And we only have a direct line, which will be routed to a random representative, regardless if they are onshore or not. Most of the time, we are the ones who accept most of the calls, compared to our US counterparts. I don't know why, but it is what it is. They still go with this furious rant, cursing at me, saying that we always mess up things on our end and other stuff. I am fed up, so I said as politely as I could, "If you want to be transferred, sure thing, I'll place you on hold and I'll transfer you." So I transferred them back to our customer service queue, where they will wait another 25 minutes to an hour of wait time, which will most likely be answered by one of my colleagues. I'm not getting paid enough to deal with this. The last story is called "Need to Sign In." This started about a month ago at my workplace, where I've been for the past 12 years. On this fateful day, I had forgotten my key fob to pass through the security gate, so I asked the guard, who I've known and chatted to for several years, to let me through. As he was getting up, the moody old guard, some of my staff named him Nasty Nick for good reason, next to him stopped him and rudely told me to sign in. I explained that I've been working here for over a decade and I'm known to this guard, so he can vouch for me. He said it doesn't matter, it's a health and safety thing in case there was a fire. Not true, this is a shared building and each company is responsible for accounting for their staff. I know because I helped set up this plan with the building's owner. I explained this to him, but he wasn't having it. He directed me to the sign-in book, which funnily enough had a printed sheet that stated it was for guests only and had a line saying permanent staff should get a sticker to ID themselves. When I asked about the sticker, he said this was the new process and I had to sign in and out each time I entered and exited the building without my fob. I asked if he was sure. He said 100%. Cue malicious compliance. The UK health and safety body says that ideally you should take a 5 to 10 minute break each hour away from your computer screen. Not wanting to get RSI or anything, I took it upon myself to take even more regular breaks, especially when Nasty Nick was on shift. So for my break, I would go on short walks outside. And would you know it, I am getting very forgetful in my old age and keep forgetting to bring in my fob. So each time I come to sign in, Nasty Nick would need to get up, open his door and undo his keys to buzz me in. Quite often I would forget something in my car just as he's about to let me in, and he'll need to make his round trip back to the little office. My record was 13 little breaks over the day. After about 2 weeks of this, I managed to have a catch up with the younger guard. And he explained that he checked and there was definitely no need for me to sign in each time. And even better, Nasty Nick was constantly moaning about me to the other security guys about the idiot who keeps forgetting his fob. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.